Oh, look at that, coming in hot with episode 59 of Rule of Two. Marc Fernandez joining me here, and this show is brought to you with our partnership from BioWorld. Thank you very much for joining us here. The Heroes and Villains line is doing well. We have a Rule of Two army that is buying up everything, going head-to-head with Collider Live, who's also buying a bunch of stuff. Jedi Council is doing it. Movie Talk is doing it. They have stories that have inspired us, and they have lines from Star Wars, Star Trek, Batman, X-Men, and more. And if you want to get some nice merchandise like what I'm wearing, you can go to heroesvillain.com. Put in Rule 15 at checkout, and you get 15% off. What do you think of that, Fernandez?
I love it. I love it. And look, I want to address some stuff from the last episode.
I like it.
Okay? Because granted, you and I can get overexcited about stuff. You know, we can get locked into our own way, so to speak, and we can go down rabbit holes, you know? Mm-hmm. And some people took our rabbit hole last week talking about our amazing partners at BioWorld, who are personal friends of mine, you know, based out of Texas.
Yeah.
And you know, we went off for like maybe 10, 15 minutes.
Yeah.
You know, there was some comments there like fast forward, which I totally get, and I totally respect that. But, you know, the reality is that most of the video content that we do at Collider is all free.
Yeah.
Okay. And Google and YouTube, I mean, these are great. You know, this is a great company, Google/YouTube, but you know, they since they are pretty much a monopoly, right? They set the own. You know, they set the terms.
They sure do.
And
they
like in the words of Darth Vader, let's pray that we don't have to alter them any further.
Yeah.
You know,
I'm altering the deal. Pray I don't alter any further.
Yeah.
Yes.
And like, you know, this is what what's this? What is this? I have your address.
Oh, I have
You
no
see
idea
that?
what this
God,
is.
There's some creepy people out there.
Yeah, I don't know.
Anyway.
I'm just gonna go ahead and.
Yeah, let's go ahead and mute that.
Yep.
But look, the bottom line is, I do want to like shout out all the people that have supported us, who are excited about. Look at that.
I'll go ahead and.
I'm trying to keep up too.
Yeah.
Oh, man, look at that. Thank you, Cody. Cody's inside the booth. We have the Rule of Two armies under attack, ladies and gentlemen.
Yeah.
But look, bottom line is I want to shout out all the people that support us and understand that having a partner that's as much of a fit as BioWorld is a rare thing in this business.
Yeah.
You know? Oh, man. Here comes Meme Bin is a BITCH. All right, so the guys are trying to deal with that. Apologies if I'm getting a little distracted because we're getting attacked.
I got two. I mean, we just got hit by a bunch of bots at the mention of Google and YouTube.
Wow, that is true, huh?
That was a little weird.
Look,
I don't know.
For the record, we love Google and YouTube and
No,
we
yeah, I
respect
get
their
it.
power. But we have to operate underneath their rules, hoping they don't alter the deal any further. And for us to thrive and to be able to do more cool stuff, and there is more cool stuff coming that we might even tease a little bit later on in the show.
Yeah.
It helps us to have a sponsor and a benefactor of sorts like BioWorld who believes in our content, wants to, you know, help us push it.
Yeah.
And wants to help us, you know, finance it. You know, let's just be real about it. You know, so everything you guys do helps. You know, we're trying to make it fun. Like, you know, we have the giveaway. We got hundreds of submissions.
You have no idea. You're not kidding either. You guys, Rule of Two Army, the Big Mac Army, whatever you're calling it today, you guys crushed.
Yeah.
And when I say crushed, I mean demolished.
So many good ideas.
I went through this. I went through all of them. I spent my Thursday, my Friday, and half of yesterday, and a little bit today going through all of your stuff because I had so much fun.
Yeah.
Not just because it's Star Wars, not just because it's my job. It's because you guys really are creative. You love your Star Wars just like us, and you wanted to have fun with us with BioWorld, and we picked some for this great giveaway that we're doing for the Heroes and Villains line.
Yeah. So look, for everybody that's tuned into the show, we're going to announce the winners. Or actually, there's only one winner, but we're gonna do it kind of like the Oscars. We're gonna give you 5 finalists.
We have 5 finalists that we have picked that we are going to announce at the very end of the show. Well, not the very end, but towards near the end. And then we're going to pick our winner because we've talked about it. We went through it. And it was a lot of fun. Like I said, guys, this was really great. And thank you, everyone who played along with us.
Yeah. So look, today we're not going to take calls because we got so much to get through.
Right.
Okay, we're going to talk about this news of Jon Favreau.
Yeah.
In the holiday special. We might, tap into his, some other little things. But at the end of the show, we are going to read our 5 finalists, give props to the authors of those ideas.
Yep.
And then we're going to pick our winner, and we're going to give them the backpack. Just show them that backpack one more time.
Yeah.
Show them that thing.
This backpack is really cool. Now, you will get this if I don't steal it first. This is the backpack that we are giving away. It is, oh my God, it's like leather. It has all these pockets. It has the great Rebel Alliance symbol on the front, and it's part of the Heroes and Villains line from BioWorld. So, yeah, you might get it, like I said, if I don't steal it, because it's that great.
And what episode is this?
This is episode 59.
All right, so
who is it?
Seth Joyner.
Seth Joyner. I know that
Joyner,
name.
yeah. Linebacker for the Philadelphia Eagles. Shout out to Philly.
Yeah.
Philadelphia Eagles linebacker made the cut. Number 59.
There it is. Number 59. Making the cut here on Rule of Two. And this is a celebration of the Star Wars universe here on Podcast One, podcast feed, and Collider Video. But we're going to get right to it now. Let's do it. It's Rule of Two, episode 59.
Rise.
That's right. You heard it up top. Thank you to our partnership and our friends over at BioWorld for their Heroes and Villain line. If you want to go grab a bunch of stuff and on checkout, you put in Rule 15 for 15% off. You're going to get a little discount there. But let's go into it. We have a lot to talk about. As Fernandez mentioned, we have a lot of great stuff on tap towards the end. We're going to share with you the 5 finalists, their stories, their log lines. Now, Fernandez, this is what was great.
Yeah.
You guys, it made my writer heart sing that everybody played along. Now, we asked something a little different. We wanted your log line, which is the industry speak for giving us a couple sentences that encapsulate your idea for a Disney Plus streaming series. And you guys went crazy, and I loved it, and I loved reading all of them. So thank you very much for everybody joining, and thank you guys in the chat room right now. Fernandez, you wanted to add something to that? I mean, you liked a lot of those as well.
I liked a lot of them. It was tough to pick, to whittle them down to 5 because so many of them we've been thinking about, or it's just stuff that, some of them seem obvious, but yet, with Star Wars, sometimes the most obvious thing is the best thing, right? So,
sure.
But yeah, we absolutely. We were just humbled at how many people submitted them.
Yeah. Yeah.
I think that's what got me.
I was really humbled as well because I stopped counting after 20,
right,
maybe, because it just kept going. And then, I told you, I think there must have been over 100. Easily over. I would even venture a guess 150, even more.
Yeah.
It was great going through it. So thank you again, guys. And yes, I'm reading your comments here. Flick Therapist with a super chat.
Yeah.
I will say 5'5", average weight. What size shirt is best?
Let's say a medium, large?
I would say a medium. I'm wearing a medium right now.
Okay.
I am 5'9". I'm a little average, get a little doughy around the middle right now as I get rid of some things and start to go into my wedding diet. So about a medium would work, I would say, if you like that. I did put on a small the other day, and they are a little bit big, a little bit long cut, but they're kind of a little tighter. I was able to rock the small just a little bit if I lost some weight.
Look, that to me is a distant memory, like the twin sons of Tatooine. I can't even contemplate that.
Yeah.
I used to be a young athlete, a young Cuban athlete, but those days are way behind me. I'm 5'10", and I rock the XL.
You do? Okay.
So, yeah. So
that
look,
happens.
So look, it's somewhere in between that, right? So 5'5", average weight. So you're saying medium?
Medium.
Medium.
I would say medium works for you guys. And you'll love it. The cuts are great. So there it is. But we do have some news out there, Fernandez. Do you want to get to some news and see what it opens up, or do you want to go right into this holiday special?
Let's do the news first, because there is that story that's being reported out of, I believe it was comicbook.com. Yeah.
Comicbook.com does have an interview, or it has an article up. And it's interesting because Bob Iger was asked about some things. He does have a book that he's putting out there. And it's Iger's The Ride of a Lifetime, Lessons Learned from 15 Years as CEO of the Walt Disney Company. And in it, he revealed what it was like when they showed George Lucas The Force Awakens.
It's probably the same reaction I had the first time I watched it. I love the beginning. I'm sorry, go ahead.
No.
This
Keep
is
going.
getting me
Keep
going.
going.
Go ahead.
Well, Lucas didn't, I'm going to use the quotes here because it's directly from the book, didn't hide his disappointment over The Force Awakens.
Yeah.
According to Lucas, there was nothing new about the film which caught his eyes or interest. And it's quoted here from the book. In each of the films in the original trilogy, it was important to him, Lucas, to present new worlds, new stories, new characters, and new technologies. In this one, he said there wasn't enough visual or technical leaps forward. I agree with that.
I mean,
There
I've been
wasn't.
yelling that from the mountaintop for 3 years, however long it's been.
Because Lucas, and we're pausing there, Lucas always would push the limits of technology. He always wanted to advance it. And he did that by, from Star Wars to Empire Strikes Back, instead of being on blue screen to simulate the stars or the black backgrounds, he said, you know what? Let's do it on Hoth, white.
Right.
That's going to be tough. That's going to be really tough, and guess what they did? They pulled it off, in my opinion. Yeah. And Hoth is one of the greatest action sequences of all time. But he does continue. There weren't enough visual or technical leaps forward. Let me find this. And he said he wasn't wrong, but he also wasn't appreciate the pressure we were under to give ardent fans a film that felt quintessentially Star Wars, Iger explained. We'd intentionally created a world that was visually and tonally connected to the earlier films to not stray too far away from what people love and expected, and George was criticizing us for the very thing we were trying to do. Interesting stuff. I know how you feel.
Go ahead.
I agree with them on the visual and technical side of things. There wasn't anything new. I mean, Lucas even went back to the prequels and created the first mocap character, or tried with Jar Jar Binks. And so that was a leap forward and really pushing the envelope there. But for me, it's the characters that really made The Force Awakens work for me. And that's where I feel like I disagree just a bit. I think that they did do something that I love enough to stick around for a while. But I know you were with me on that, but once Han Solo enters the picture in Force Awakens, you started to feel...
Iger had bad info. Iger got bad info.
Okay.
That's the bottom line. The bottom line was that Iger was like everybody, like what he was told. Mm-hmm. Everybody hates the prequels. Everybody loves the original trilogy.
Right.
So please make a movie that's just like the original trilogy.
Right.
That's what a CEO understands, okay?
That's what you think he heard, and that was bubkiss.
Yeah. It's just not true. It's just not true.
There's so many people that love the prequels.
I mean, there's so much prequel love, and forget the prequel movie love, because obviously there is that, but forget that for a second.
Sure.
Look at how successful the prequels were from a merchandising, licensing, and ancillary product point of view.
Yeah.
I mean, the biggest video games ever came out as a result of the prequels. The biggest novelizations ever came out as a result of the prequels.
Very true.
Darth Bane, Knights of the Old Republic, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. All this stuff is born out of the prequels aesthetic. And this was building for what? 15 solid years, right? From 99 until, when did they buy it? 2012,
Let me think.
Something like that.
I believe it was 2012.
Yeah, something like that,
Yeah,
right?
and then 3 years later, we got The Force Awakens.
And we had the Clone Wars during that time. We had all kinds of great video games, Star Wars Galaxies, Force Unleashed, KOTOR. I mean, we had all these great cultural moments around Star Wars that built up a true next generation of Star Wars fan, which was George Lucas's intent, not to cater to the old fan, but to bring on a brand new fan.
Yeah.
And to do that, sometimes it requires change and pain and struggle. But then these guys were just like, oh, let's do the reboot mentality that JJ brought to Star Trek. Let's take the script that Michael Arndt and George Lucas wrote and throw it out the door. And maybe not all of it, because like we always talk about this show, they still get top writing, build writing credit.
Right.
But let's make it more nostalgic and less about pushing the envelope. And look,
Safe.
And I do believe that backfired on them.
I can't disagree with you there.
Not financially, though, right? Because the movie, I mean, it's
over
the
$2 billion.
highest grossing film of all time, right?
Yeah.
Number 2.
People loved that nostalgic
Number 3,
feeling.
yeah.
So you could argue that it was maybe not a failure as far as creative, but it certainly was a success financially. I mean, the thing I thought was going to maybe have a chance of beating Avatar, but it didn't ultimately. But I don't know.
I know.
Listen.
Look, I mean, you love the. I mean, look, I actually this week. Go ahead.
Yeah, I still think that Lucas doesn't like. I know he sold his company, but I think that he's still getting over that not being involved. So I wonder what. Like, I wonder how much. Like, this is just an excerpt taken from one portion of the book. I want to read the whole thing, but I can buy it. This is Iger's. His what do you call it? It's Iger's kind of memoir, yeah. So
I love that word, memoir.
Yeah, memoir.
Yeah.
So I want to know more, but I mean, the more we hear about all the things happening behind the scenes, you know, it's hard. It's for me, it's really hard to know truly how much is true, how much is just spin, how much is clickbait articles that are going to take one sentence and spin it into another thing. I really try to just go and find truly what this is all about. But
I mean, look no further than the Charlie Rose interview.
Yeah, I know. I knew you were going to go there, and you're right.
Because, I mean, this is a 2-hour interview with George Lucas where he lays it out. Mm-hmm. He lays it out. I mean, he says some things about Disney that I don't think are fair.
Right.
You know, I mean, he throws a few derogatory comments about Disney, you know, being, I think, equating them to like slavers to some degree.
Yeah,
I think
he did.
I think that's the actual quote was something dealing with slaves or something like that, which is obviously horrible and it couldn't be further from the truth. I mean, you're dealing with a company,
right?
You know, who, you know, is, as far as I understand, has not violated any. You know, work things, and you know, I mean, they do things, you know, what they can. So, some extreme commentary that I think was born out of some, you know, anger, frustration, you know, scorned, you know, type of thing. But anyway, look, this is a little bit old news for us, like George Lucas purists, but
we knew that and see, and this is where it's hard for me to really suss out what's truly correct. He has this statement that came from Iger's book. I remember when Force Awakens came out and The Last Jedi came out, and there were news headlines everywhere that Lucas loved the movie.
See, I never saw that. I never saw a quote.
Yeah,
I never saw a quote.
I'm going to find one because it was – but see, this is the same thing when James Cameron said that he thought the best Terminator movie in years was Terminator Jenny Smith. Terminator Genesis comes out and he's like, oh, it's one of the best Terminator movies ever.
Unwatchable.
It's yeah, it is. Hold on. I'm going to just put in a Google search and see. Okay, here's Looper with how George Lucas really felt about The Last Jedi. That's a video. I can't do that.
Yeah. But look – anyway, I have heard. Look, and I went to that Solo premiere, and that movie was, you know, I thought that movie was downright awful.
Yeah,
and there he was at the Solo premiere, supporting his friend Ron Howard, who directed Willow, as we all know, and he was there at the premiere, being a part of it. You know, at the launch of Galaxy's Edge, he was there. You know, with Harrison Ford and Mark Hamill and stuff. You know, at Star Wars Celebration 40th anniversary, he was there. So obviously he's not completely estranged. He's still in the mix, and there's all kinds of talk about him being heavily involved in The Last Jedi to some consulting parameters. So, you know, look, who knows how involved he is and what he really feels about it. But go ahead.
Right. Well, I found
a quote.
I found a quote, and it makes sense because this is what, you know, sometimes these headlines have to do. They pull in, you know, views, clickbait is what it's called sometimes. George Lucas, and this is loved the Last Jedi. This is the headline.
Yep.
And then I go into it, and it says he told Rian Johnson it was beautifully made.
Right.
Okay?
Yeah.
So that's what the actual quote is. And then it mirrors the sentiment in the same article that says George Lucas said about Star Wars The Force Awakens, saying it was a movie that the fans would love.
Right.
And I click on that one.
It sounds very political.
Very political. And it's George Lucas thinks the fans are gonna love Star Wars: The Force Awakens coming out right before the actual movie drops in theaters.
Right.
So it's spinning these things.
Yeah, look, and I'll be honest. This weekend, I couldn't get anybody to play Galaxies with me.
What the hell, man?
I couldn't get anybody to play Galaxies.
What's going on with you guys? Rule of Two Army, what say you? Why aren't you doing it?
Star Wars Theory couldn't play. Jeremy couldn't play.
Mm-hmm.
I needed to get a fix. So I played some Red Dead Redemption 2 online, which is a lot of fun.
Yeah.
But I needed my Star Wars fix.
Yeah.
So I did the unthinkable.
Okay.
I reinstalled Star Wars: The Old Republic, the MMO.
Ooh.
Okay. They're about to release a new patch, Star Wars Old Republic 6.0, and my guy's level 65. I haven't really got him to level 70 yet, so I was like, you know what? Let me go back in there.
Yeah.
You know? And as I was playing this, I was having a lot of fun with it and sort of getting back into the SOTOR world. And then as I was going to finally decided to go to sleep, I was like, you know what? Let me pop in The Last Jedi.
Look at this.
Yeah, let me
Okay.
pop in The Last Jedi.
Wait, you buried the lead here, dude.
Yeah.
Come on. All right. All right.
Let me pop in The Last Jedi. I have it on 4K, you know, put my projector on, you know, like dim the lights, you know, the whole thing, right?
Yeah.
And I'm watching this movie, and I got to tell you,
It's beautifully made.
it is, first of all, it is absolutely
Marc Fernandez
beautifully
says
made.
Star Wars: The Last Jedi is beautifully made. Sorry.
There is no question that it's absolutely gorgeous.
I get it. Yeah.
Okay. The cinematography is great.
Mm-hmm.
The music might be some of my favorite music out of all the Star Wars movies. The music is great. That bum 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 bum.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, it's just like there's some incredible music in there.
Yeah, it's
Okay?
one of my favorite John Williams Star Wars scores.
And I got to tell you something. Kylo and Rey are so compelling in that movie when they're interacting with each other that it reaches heights.
This makes my heart flutter.
It
Keep
reaches
going.
heights that are unseen in Star Wars in terms of having such intimacy
Yeah.
between characters.
Yeah.
Kylo and Rey have moments that are in a vacuum. You look at it, you're like, wow, this is some of the best character interactions in all of Star Wars.
Yeah.
Okay? I will give it that. But that's where it stops. That's where it stops. It's just like, I mean, the whole, and look, I know everybody hates when I start doing this, but I rewatched The Last Jedi this weekend.
Yeah.
I sat down. I said, you know what? I'm going to smoke a bean and I'm going to rewatch The Last Jedi. I had a blast playing SOTOR, and the whole Holdo Leia, what's his face, Poe thing,
Yeah.
is so bad.
Didn't work for you.
It doesn't. It's not that it doesn't work for me. Like it doesn't work. Like you got to. Like I was buzzing off of some of the stuff I was seeing up on the big screen. Okay,
Okay.
Or my 120-inch projector of
Sure.
projection of it. But like, there's so much stuff in that movie that's just not Star Wars that it just blows my mind how that movie ever got made. But then there's stuff in it that you're like, wow, man, this is really, really cool.
Yeah. I mean, you know my feelings.
Yeah.
You know. And I actually had a craving to watch The Last Jedi this weekend, and my fiance wasn't having it. So you know what we watched instead?
Right, what?
Raiders of the Lost Ark.
Oh, I love Raiders.
Yeah,
absolutely
I
love
tried
Raiders.
though. I said, you know what? Do you want to watch something? I'm feeling, and I wanted to see The Last Jedi again because it was something that we've talked about as we get, we're getting close to the Rise of Skywalker. You all know me. You can be in the chat room. You can be on Twitter. You're watching this right now. I love The Last Jedi. I do. Faults and all, because I do see faults in it when it comes to Canto Bight and just that kind of.
Oh, forget that. I fast forward. I mean, that's unwatchable.
It's.
I mean, there's stuff in that movie that's completely unwatchable.
I've watched it. I've seen The Last Jedi probably at least 6 times now by now.
Okay.
And it was probably on that last viewing where I really stopped and went, yeah, Canto Bight ain't that good. Yeah, it's not something that I'm digging, but I see what Rian Johnson was doing, but that's beside the point.
Yeah.
Like I said, the reason I love The Last Jedi so much, because I feel like I have to rebut this, is because of Luke's journey. I really do. It's just so powerful for me. It's something that I stared all night at my original New Hope poster of Luke Skywalker swinging across with Princess Leia. The night I saw The Last Jedi, I sat there looking at that image, because that's the poster that hangs in front of my bed, is that New Hope poster. And I was just like, I'm affected in a way that I have not experienced with a Star Wars movie. Now, we can break this down.
Because you're very accepting.
I am very accepting.
You're very accepting. And when they killed your hero, go ahead. Finish your point.
But then how do you explain Solo and the fact that I'm accepting of everything and I'll be positive about Solo, but I'm not a fan of Solo. And I was even told to watch it again, Mark, on Twitter. Somebody came at me pretty hard, asking, begging to watch it again. I've seen Solo 3 times.
I have a very simple answer for you.
Okay.
And I think it's the right answer.
Okay.
Solo is not Han Solo. Solo is an artist's interpretation of who Han Solo is.
Yeah.
The Last Jedi, it's Mark Hamill. It's the first time you see Mark Hamill as Luke Skywalker in 40 years.
Sure.
Okay, so there's no denying that that's Mark Hamill.
Yeah.
With Solo, Alden Ehrenreich is 5'9".
Right.
You know, Harrison Ford is 6'2".
Yeah.
You know,
it's true.
It's a completely different person up there.
Yeah.
You know, so it doesn't. You don't forgive it as much. Okay.
I think I think you don't classify it as what's the word I'm looking for? I don't think you classify it in the same kind of conversation. It's not a saga film.
But here's another one, okay? And I know I cut you off there, but here's another one. Did you like Kingdom of the Crystal Skull?
No.
It's unwatchable, right?
I wouldn't say unwatchable. I would say it has its moments, but overall,
yeah, it's bad. That's Harrison Ford up there.
Oh, yeah.
You know, and like when you watch that movie, and the first time I saw it with the little gopher popping out of the thing, and then like him in the, you know, obviously the scene of him in the fridge, and then him dealing with Shia LaBeouf as his child, and Marion Ravenwood and all that stuff, were they rooting for the movie the entire time, and the entire time the movie is just not that good.
Yeah, when we got to Shia LaBeouf swinging with monkeys, I remember I had a friend, a bunch of us went, it was like 10 of us in a theater, and one of my best friends happened to be at the opposite end of the row, and I leaned forward, and they leaned forward and went, we're out. I mean, that was too much for me.
But look, and that's Harrison Ford up there, you know, so it's easier to forgive. Like, now imagine if you saw Kingdom of the Crystal Skull with not Harrison Ford, some other actor that was trying to play Indiana Jones.
Yeah.
Like that, look, nobody can watch that movie now. Like, I've never seen that movie more than once. I've tried maybe 50 times.
Oh, I own it.
I own it too.
I've tried, and every once in a while I've put it in and I don't know what it is. It's like this, let's give it another shot. Oh, gosh. Oh, never mind.
Yeah.
But with Solo, I think there are moments in Solo that really, truly work and are and for me feel very Star Wars. It's just when I think about it and my feelings from it, it's just like it's opposite ends of the spectrum. The Last Jedi stuck with me. I can't explain it. If you don't like it, I get it. I understand why people don't like it. I don't understand why it's almost 3 years later and 2 years later and they're still going and they have Twitter accounts that are absolutely dedicated to hating it every single day. That I don't understand. That's fine. To each his own. But it stuck with me in a way that I can't explain, just like Solo didn't stick with me, and I can't explain that either. It's just the way I feel.
Yeah, I mean, look, there's a lot of good bits in The Last Jedi.
Mm-hmm.
The music is great, cinematography is gorgeous, and the Kylo and Rey stuff is really powerful.
Yeah.
Now, when you see Luke like say goodbye to Rey and after their fight, you know, where he's disconnected from the Force, but all of a sudden he can still blow up a hut with his Force powers, and he can still levitate with the Force powers, so he can turn it on and off very quickly.
Yeah.
And she leaves, right? And like, let's not forget who the pilot of that ship was. Who's the pilot of that ship?
Chewie. And Rey.
Okay, and Rey.
Yeah.
But doesn't it make sense that Chewie would say, hey, like, why are you pissed? Like, Luke Skywalker is like one of my best friends. He was like the best friend of my best friend. I mean, shouldn't I say bye to him? Or like, it's just cool if I dip? Like, does he not care that I'm even here? Already off character for me, okay? Like, you know, that's in the weeds and a little nitpicky. It's freaking Chewie. So what's Chewie doing? Like, hanging out in the Falcon? And like, Luke doesn't seem to give a... Anyway.
Yeah, I know.
Okay.
I know.
So,
but see,
so what happens after they leave? Okay, what's the first thing that happens after they leave?
Luke then gets the Jedi text. He's going to go burn down the tree.
He gets his little torch.
Yep.
And he's going to go burn down the tree.
Yeah.
Okay? And this is the first time, at least the movie would tell us, since The Last Jedi, this is the first time that Luke sees Yoda.
I don't think that's implied to that
It's
at all.
absolutely implied. It's implied in the dialogue.
He says, Master Yoda.
He says, I haven't seen you since whatever.
Oh, I don't know if he says that.
He says something like I mean, look, I just saw it 2 days ago. So
Yeah. So because I don't think it's implied that Yoda just showed up since last we saw him.
It's implied.
Is it? Okay.
Absolutely
I want to
implied.
put it to the, God, man, what is this?
What is this?
I
What-
don't know. I can't stand this.
Yeah, we got Cody in there fighting the good fight.
Yeah.
So Survivor Gaming.
Sorry about that, guys. I
Yeah,
mean,
sorry
we
about
are
that.
getting some weird stuff coming in on the live chat that we don't like. But let's do this. Let me go because already this turned into a Last Jedi debate, and I do like that. But The Last Jedi, Luke, and Yoda. How about dialogue? Let's see what Yoda. Let's see the internet puts up there.
And like Yoda has a great line in that little moment, which is that failure is the greatest teacher. Like I
God,
love that line.
He says the first time Yoda appears, Luke says, Master Yoda, young Skywalker, I'm ending all of this. The tree, the text, the Jedi, I'm going to burn it down. Ah, Skywalker, missed you have I. So it is time for the Jedi Order to end, says Luke. Time it is, Yoda says, for you to look past a pile of books. The secret Jedi text. Oh, read them, have you? Page turners they were not. Yes, wisdom they held, but that library contained nothing that the girl Rey does not already possess. Skywalker still looking to the horizon, never here. Now, the need in front of your nose. Luke, I was weak, unwise. Lost Ben Solo you did. Lose Rey we must not. I can't be what she needs me to be. Heeded my words not, did you? Pass on what you have learned. Strength, mastery. But weakness, folly, failure also. Yes, failure most of all, the greatest teacher failure is. Luke, we are what they grow beyond. That is the true burden of all masters. One of the greatest lines. I'm sorry, it just gave me chills again.
Fine. It's a good line, but it is implied to me. That like if you're looking at a movie,
Yeah.
it's implied that he hasn't seen him since Return of the Jedi.
See, I don't get that whatsoever.
Missed you, I have.
Yeah, I get that maybe. I mean, for me, it's not implied that he's just now showing up. In fact, for me, when he says Master Yoda in a way that's like casual, it makes me feel like he's seen Yoda before this. However, I can understand. This is all subjective. This is what great film does.
It's vague. It is vague.
It's vague.
It's vague.
But I don't think if he says, Master Yoda, young Skywalker, haven't seen you since the last time over there on Endor. Good to see you. I'd get it.
Right.
But I do not get whatsoever that he's just now, for the very first time. In fact, and that's what stuck in my mind when you said that, I went, wait a minute. Because when Luke says Master Yoda, it's in a way that is so
No,
casual.
he said Master Yoda.
He goes, Master Yoda.
I mean, he Master Yoda. Like he hasn't seen him in fucking forever.
I'm not getting that at all.
That's what I got from watching it.
I'm putting it to the chat.
All right.
Let's do this, guys.
Look.
It's pretty obvious that Luke and Yoda haven't spoken in years. There's one. He cut himself off from the Force. I think they did yoga between takes. There he goes. Shut himself off from the Force. Yoda hasn't seen him since before that. So that would imply that it could have been before that or since Return of the Jedi because he was building the Jedi Order.
Right.
He was building new Padawans.
Right.
I feel like Obi-Wan and Yoda, and this is an interesting question, something that is not in
It's fun.
the
It's a
text.
fun debate. It's a fun debate.
Did Luke see Obi-Wan, Yoda, and his dad, Anakin, after Return of the Jedi, before Force Awakens, before he cut himself off from the Force?
And there's probably 5 or 6 canon books that no one's ever going to read where he pops in, and they have a great conversation.
That is
All right.
that is my yeah.
Let's put Yoda aside for a second. Okay. Where the hell's Obi-Wan?
Very true.
Okay,
Obi-Wan is heard in Rey's vision in Force Awakens.
The end of Return of the Jedi. Okay, talk about implications.
Yeah,
it implies that this part of the journey is complete. We're like burning Darth Vader, his body, and boom, there he is as a Force ghost. alongside Obi-Wan and alongside Yoda.
Right.
The implication is, here we go on this new adventure to rebuild the Jedi Order, but you are not alone.
Right.
Right? I mean, that's the implication I get.
We
You're
are-
not alone.
We are in the chat.
Yeah.
There are people with you, and there are people with me.
Good. That's the
And
way it
I
should
would
be.
say that it's. I would say right now it's right on. It's pretty much in the middle there, and I think it's however you see it. And man, that's why I love film.
Right.
I do. It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter who's right and who's wrong. It's what are you getting from
First
it?
of all, we're both neither right nor wrong.
Correct.
Right? Like unless we have actual like evidence or testimony from the writers and
Mm-hmm.
you know the story group that's become all but useless. But but anyway, where the heck is is Anakin? Where the heck is Obi-Wan?
Yeah. Again, we've said this so many times. Rise of Skywalker has a lot of heavy lifting to do. Hopefully, we're going to get some kind of idea of that. If Anakin's going to show up, and I personally think now, because you saw some of the reports out there that Hayden Christensen and Ian McDiarmid were supposed to show up at a
Right.
convention together.
Right.
And Disney canceled it. Now,
Canceled them.
that makes
Put
me
a gag order on them.
yeah, that makes me think that Anakin's going to be in this thing.
Made them lose
i.e.
money
Hayden-
too. They made them lose money because they didn't get paid for
I'm
that.
sure they did. So I feel like that we're going to see that. I feel like we're going to have Obi-Wan Kenobi in this. And they've been hiding it. They've been able to really, really...
God, I hope you're right. Because, look, my biggest problem with The Force Awakens and The Last Jedi is not that they're not good movies. They're both good movies,
Yeah.
okay? They just exist outside of the continuity,
Yeah.
in my opinion. The Resistance, like there's this line in The Last Jedi, it just makes me cringe hearing it. Like Holdo, like after they leave, Holdo says, "Go Rebels," or she says something like that.
Right.
What is it like? Something like that. Like,
Yeah. No, yeah.
good luck, Rebels.
Something like that. Yeah. You didn't like it.
Because it negates the entire purpose of all 6 movies.
What? What does? Her
Like-
line?
No. Them reverting back
To be in a rebellion?
to being a rebellion. It doesn't make any sense.
That's I'm with you a little bit on that. I just think that it's because the resistance was like basically blown up so that they're now so small that they unfortunately had to revert back to calling themselves. I mean, I get it. I do. I do. It does
you get
negate it.
it. Yeah,
It
yeah.
does.
It
It does.
it does
But
negate it.
But for me, it's just like, you know why?
Oh,
It's because
Godspeed. You're right. I'm sorry to interrupt, but yeah.
Godspeed Rebels.
Godspeed, Rebels.
There it is.
Yeah.
I'm going to show that. There's the Big Mac. I'm
Oh,
showing
yeah,
that.
we're such shills here at Collider. Godspeed, Rebels.
See, that stuff doesn't bother me though. I mean, it's like
It's just ridiculous,
I
man.
feel like that gets. I mean, now it's you're just picking things.
I'm picking.
You know,
That's
it's like that stuff doesn't bother me.
Godspeed, Rebels. Jared Simpson loves the line, and look, this is why I love this show, and this is why rarely could you find a co-host like Reilly and I,
Yeah.
because Reilly and I, we are definitely arguing, we're definitely debating,
Yeah.
but we both debate for what was it that I used to call it in the early days of the show, the loyal opposition.
The loyal opposition. Yeah.
That's what we are.
Yeah.
We are truly the loyal opposition.
Yeah. I love having these conversations with you, and this started happening before Rule of Two came into existence because
Right.
I would just be walking by your office, and then did you see this? Yeah, just blah 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 blah, and then it's like before you know it, here we are. But yeah, it's again. No one's right, no one's wrong. Everybody in here,
Yeah.
you have your points, and
Fos-
everybody so far in the chat
Yeah,
have
this is
been
the best
on
fan
point,
group.
have
This is
been awesome.
Yeah.
Everybody that hits me up on Twitter, hits you up on Twitter, have been great. It's the toxic stuff. I just
Yeah, the
get
toxic
it
stuff
out.
is ridiculous.
It's just ridiculous.
But again, that scene with Snoke, Kylo, and look, we haven't even gone into our topic, man. We are the worst, dude.
I know we need to get there now.
I'm surprised that anybody even listens to this show, dude. Like, we are so
This is what they want.
we are so off topic here.
I don't care, and they don't either.
Right.
Except that one guy that keeps yelling at us in the chat here to talk about the damn holiday special. You're the one, dude. I think we're making it for you.
But like, okay, let's talk just really quick about that Emperor or that throne room scene. Okay,
Which is one of the greatest scenes in all of Star Wars. For me,
it's just for me.
See, this is why I love, and this is my love of film. And now I know a lot of people, it's like subvert your expectations in a Star Wars movie. They didn't like it. They didn't like it because they just come to expect certain things. And even you and Harloff have been saying not a single lightsaber hit because of Rian Johnson. And I'm like, great. I loved that idea.
Well, that hill you're going to die on.
I know.
Completely on your own.
I have a lot of people on that hill with me. I have a lot of people on that hill, and I'm happy about that.
Really?
Oh, that love the Praetorian Guard scene?
It's a cool scene.
Yes.
Fine, it's a cool scene.
Jump in that chat with me. Who's dying on that hill with me? I'm going to see it right now.
Right.
It's going to start coming. We're on a delay.
But, like, seeing that scene again, I don't understand how Snoke was punked so easily.
Yeah, that I don't know either.
Because it's like the whole scene is about how he's unpunkable.
Well, again, I think he was reading Kylo's mind. And
Yeah, but like the whole twisting of the arm, it was just kind of like...
He was projecting to Snoke that it was about Rey, and so he got fooled thinking it was going to be Rey that was killed.
Of course, I get that, but it's a gag.
Yeah.
It's a gag.
Yeah.
You know, this is a guy who somehow... like undermined the entire new like Jedi Order, that his evil... It's funny because they do mention this in The Last Jedi, that his evil comes from a much deeper source.
Mm-hmm.
You know, like kind of like, remember like our little theory about the tree and the roots?
See, I love that theory that you put out there.
They also, they tap into that a little bit, that he's, his evil comes from a deeper place and all these interesting things.
Right.
And he gets punked because he's spinning his saber and with his hand behind his back, he's also spinning it. It's just, come on.
Yeah.
Anyway.
He fooled Snoke because Kylo Ren is that damn powerful. I bought it 100%.
Right.
I loved it.
And yet he's like, fighting with the janitor and gets his face sliced, or
Again,
whatever.
we're gonna see what
he doesn't get his face sliced by the janitor, which I think was the most awful choice in my most despised character in these new movies is the way that Poe is in The Last Jedi. Is the guy should be shot. I mean, the guy should be in jail. I mean, the guy is just—it's just
for treason.
For treason. It's just horrible. But nothing is as sad as what they did to Finn. I think Finn could have been the greatest character in this entire trilogy.
Yeah.
And they just completely cut him off at the knees. It's just, to me, it's astounding.
See, it didn't land with me like that because I watched Luke struggling with his new apprentice and Rey and mirroring what Leia, his sister, is going through with Poe. They're each teaching a somewhat apprentice in the ways of these things. Poe never bothered me. I don't know why. I mean, it's like I get it. I get that like Poe would probably go to jail in this real life and everything, but it didn't bother me again. And this is where the bigger thing comes for me.
First of all, you have people climbing that hill with you right now.
I told you.
In real time, I see people climbing that hill.
They are climbing up there with me. We're ordering pizza.
Like, what are you doing?
We're drinking a 15-year-old scotch up there, and we're having fun. I love it.
Godspeed, rebels.
Yep, I love it.
That should be your intro in the show. We should
Godspeed. I'm wearing my rebel gear right now. I'm the heroes from BioWorld today.
Let's put Rise aside for a few weeks and let's just go Godspeed, rebels.
I love it. I love it. We do have to touch on this though because we have to also get to the giveaway here.
What
we
time
could
is it? It's 5:43 already.
Yeah, we could
Holy
argue The Last Jedi every single show.
We're all sorry about this, guys. We're sorry about this. All right, look. Before we get into the holiday special, there's a rumor out there, reported by Wired magazine, no less. Okay. That there's a leak about the intro, so spoiler warning if you don't want to hear leaks or whatever.
You're talking about the opening of Rise of Skywalker?
Yeah.
You're talking about that one?
Yeah.
Big spoiler here, guys. Seriously. I don't want to sugarcoat this.
Right.
If you don't want to know what possibly will be, I read this too, so what possibly might be at the beginning.
Sorry to interrupt again, but it says, I die with Reilly on a lot of hills, but not this one.
I'll take it.
Yeah, that's cool.
I got some other hills that we can climb up and die on. Great. Okay, just so you know, guys, big spoiler, if this does in fact turn out to be true, go for it, Fernandez.
So supposedly, Wired Magazine picked this up. I think it's Star Wars News Net or one of these
Making Star Wars.
Making Star Wars.
Yep.
Put it out there that the opening of the Rise of Skywalker is actually a big lightsaber fight.
Yep.
Between Luke and Leia.
Yeah, they're training. He's training her.
And that you can see
in the past.
It's in the past, and that you can see Leia actually pregnant throughout this fight, which I think would be cool because to me it's a band-aid. Like nobody saw Luke fighting except he grabs that like stick and is fighting her with the stick. Again, ridiculous.
What did I say? What did I say about the flashbacks?
Yeah.
Remember? It was like to show Luke being powerful, to give
Again,
fans
you gave
something.
them an out. You gave them an out.
It's an out.
It's an obvious out.
It's a fun fan. It's absolutely fan service.
Right.
Absolutely.
But it's also an apology of sorts.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah. I mean, what is it going to add to the story? That's what any good flashback should do. You need to ask yourself, why am I flashing back? Why am I showing this? How is it going to affect the story? Not fan service. That's not going to affect it. It's going to affect the fan.
Yeah.
But how is it going to affect story? That's my question.
So, Hamdam, I'm actually completely with you. I had like an hour conversation about this, that if Disney brought back the 20th Century Fox fanfare, a lot of fans would be very, very, very excited.
Yeah,
you know?
I think they would be.
So anyway, and that this fight between Leia and Luke somehow transitions into a fight between Luke and Rey? Or something like that, or somehow it transitions. No. It transitions to Leia and Rey.
Yeah.
It transitions to Leia and Rey.
That's where I think they're going with it, to show a mirror of if Leia, from what I understand, this could mean that maybe Leia is helping with Rey with some training.
All right, so let's get to the holiday special. Sorry about this, guys.
There it goes. So
what
there's
a disaster today's show has been. The Seth Joyner wasn't even that good a linebacker. No, actually, I'm kidding. He was great. He was great.
So there's your spoiler of the Rise of Skywalker opening. You can now unmute. You can now do whatever you need to be doing. We are going to talk about the Star Wars Holiday Special. This is what Jon Favreau said to our friend Ash Crossan, who was for Entertainment Tonight, did speak with Favreau about this. And he said he genuinely conveyed his love for the Star Wars Holiday Special and said, I love the Holiday Special, certain sequences more than others, but I love the introduction of Boba Fett and that rifle he had. The animated piece still holds up. It's pretty cool, and I still draw inspiration from that. I would love to maybe someday on Disney Plus, we'll do a Holiday Special too. Wouldn't that be wonderful? I got to pitch that to them. We'll see. If you want a Holiday Special, let Disney Plus know.
Okay, so two things about me and the holiday special, okay? Number one, I'm just going to be very straightforward.
Okay.
I've never seen it.
Probably best.
Okay? I've seen scenes of it here and there, and like I know the girl from Golden Girls sings a song, and
Yeah,
but I've never really seen it. Okay?
It is a fever dream of acid and drugs and drinking until 3 o'clock in the morning on the top of the Chateau Marmont. It is absolutely batshit.
Okay, but here's my counter to it. I've actually celebrated Life Day for like 5 years.
I love that.
And I haven't celebrated Life Day recently because everybody that I celebrated Life Day with doesn't really celebrate it anymore in the same way.
Yeah.
And I know this is going to sound crazy. Oh, you celebrated Life Day. That's like some deep, deep nerd stuff.
Yeah.
And it absolutely is. But you have to remember in Star Wars Galaxies, again, to bring up the greatest game ever made, in my opinion, in Star Wars Galaxies, Life Day was a big deal.
Yeah.
You know, and Life Day would run for like 2 weeks.
That's right.
During
That's
Christmas
right.
time. And like, you know, Life Day celebrations were a real special time for me.
I love that.
You know,
I love that.
You know, and some of my greatest friends that I've never even met face to face.
Right. That's right.
I met through that game, and we shared legit experiences on Life Day. Look, it's probably, I mean, like I'm kind of like crucifying myself as like the ultimate nerd, but
that's okay.
Life Day means something to me. So the idea of bringing Life Day back in some special way with that Jon Favreau twist, Ewoks back, you know, maybe obviously, you know, it's a holiday that originated in Kashyyyk.
Yep.
So maybe obviously you get the, you know, the Wookiees in there. I'm all for it.
I bet this is what I think. He's not talking about making that holiday special that is so, divisive and so made fun of. I bet he could do a holiday special, quote unquote holiday special, take that Life Day thing, and then make not a similar, but make his version of it. Make it about the holidays, bring in some of the actors, put it in the Star Wars universe, but not make it, we're not going to get like what they did with the virtual reality of
all the singing. There's a lot of singing in the
singing, and then a 20-minute sequence of Wookiees talking to each other without any subtitles. I am not kidding you. They sit there and go, it's like 20 minutes.
I've seen bits and pieces of
it's hysterical, but he's not going to do that. I think I like the idea of reintroducing a holiday special that is the updated version without it being cheesy.
Absolutely. And bring Life Day to the forefront.
Absolutely.
Mean, look, May the 4th is already kind of like a holiday. Like, maybe Life Day could be a holiday too, kind of like what's the word I'm looking for? Like non-religious type thing where it's just like during this great holiday season, we can all celebrate our fandom around Life Day. There's something cool about it. I was always a big fan of it in Galaxies. I know they tried to do it in SWTOR as well. Not like how they did it in Galaxies, where it literally was the entire game was celebrating for 2 weeks.
Right. I like the idea a lot. And props to Ash for getting that quote because it's been traveling around and everybody's been talking about it. And B. Arthur, Harvey Korman, Art Carney, and Wookiees. Haskell 420, thank you for that. That's exactly true.
Yeah, the B. Arthur song is, I've heard the song. It's not one of my favorite songs.
Right.
And I know Boba Fett's in it for like a split second.
This was the official first introduction of Boba Fett because he appeared in an
it's the
animated.
Same actor, I think. It's the same.
No, it's animated. Boba Fett was animated. It was an animated segment.
Okay.
And that's the first introduction of the character.
Oh, because it was live action and animated.
Live action and animated little shorts.
Gotcha.
And that's what I think you can hold on to with a holiday special, an updated one. You could do some animation. You could cut over here and do maybe something that has a song into it within reason. Let's not get crazy here and do this weird thing where the Wookiee puts on the virtual reality and it's really weird.
Look,
it's like
the
really
only
weird.
song. The only song I want to hear is a babe, bye babe.
Like do and oogie oogie, whatever that is.
Yeah.
My God, this guy just keeps posting in the same comment over and over again, and it keeps getting high. It keeps getting hit.
Yeah.
Don't even say it.
Yeah.
Because I love watching him keep going. It's like you're spinning around in circles. Let's switch gears here and let's get to our giveaway.
Yes.
Let's get to the finalists for the backpack that we are giving away courtesy of BioWorld and Heroes and Villains, because what we did was, and this is what I did, we picked 5 that we loved. And you guys would have to write
like over 100. I mean, it was
over 100
so many
easily.
submissions. Yeah.
And what we did was we made sure that everybody played within the parameters that we did. A log line, a hashtag of Rule of Two, and
we
Heroes
were very
and Villains.
strict about that.
If you didn't follow that, we didn't really
some
take
really
it.
good ideas that didn't follow that, and you got to follow the rules.
Yeah, you got to follow the rules. I did read them though, and I did like a lot of them. So we are going to give you the first one.
Yeah,
and it comes from Josh at Jar1722, and it's entitled "The Knights of Ren." In the midst of Ben Solo's training with Luke Skywalker, a dark force emerges from the unknown regions to tempt young Solo. Witness the destruction of the new Jedi Order and the formation of the Knights of Ren. Hashtag Rule of Two. Hashtag Heroes and Villains. That's great. I want to see that. I absolutely would want to see that.
It's an absolute softball.
It's an obvious idea, and I think that's what you're referencing because I think a lot of people want to know what happened.
But it's good.
It is.
It was well written.
It was well written.
I want to see it.
Yep.
I can see it as a comic book. I can see it as a TV show. I can see it as an animated series.
Yep.
Everything about it to me screams green light. So
absolutely.
We thought this was one of the better ones.
Yes.
Not the winner, unfortunately.
No, we'll get to there.
Oh, we'll get to. Oh shit! Am I not supposed to say that?
No.
Because we're going to read all of them and then read the winner?
And then read the winner. Well, we're going to... Do you want me to read all 5? Because we picked 5, and one of them in there is the winner.
Sorry. Whoever wrote that, you did a great job. I just told you weren't the winner. Sorry about that. We'll keep going.
So we go to T at TMill24, and it says, coming soon to Disney+. He left his post. He was ambushed, beaten, left for dead. Waking up in the belly of the Millennium Falcon's smuggling bay, one lone trooper must survive and escape from the heart of the rebel base. The series is called TK421, hashtag Heroes and Villains, hashtag Rule of Two. I love this. You know why?
I love this one. I love this one. This one almost won. Again, it's just spoiled it again, but this one.
You and your spoilers.
Yeah.
This made me laugh like you wouldn't believe, and it's the point of view. It's almost like the Rosencrantz and Guildenstern of the Star Wars universe.
Yeah.
TK421. Why aren't you at your post? It's because we have a communications problem. Han Solo and Luke Skywalker, they knocked those guys out, some stormtroopers, and put them God knows where, in the smuggling bay. And then can you imagine? I can actually see this working. He wakes up in the Falcon on Yavin, and he's in enemy territory. Now, what does he do?
This is why I think Finn is the biggest missed opportunity of these new sequels.
Right.
Because Finn gave us that perspective of here is a guy who was born into Imperial service or whatever, First Order service, whatever it's called, and we see him turn away from that First Order upbringing
Right.
into that sort of flip from bad to good.
Yeah.
And I can only imagine that if this series were to happen, that this stormtrooper that gets knocked out starts to have a change of heart, that this bad situation actually yields a kind of a good sort of more like moralistic turnaround. So,
but it just occurred to me.
I love this idea. I think this is a great one.
It just occurred to me though. What happens? Like, hey, down there, can you give us a hand with this? Two stormtroopers go, sure, and they walk up, and then you hear lasers, and Han Solo probably blew them away. They're probably dead.
Right.
Yeah, but.
This is what
still good.
This is why I didn't go for this idea.
Yeah,
because I love the idea. I didn't love the fact that he put them in the Millennium Falcon cargo bay.
I get it. Yeah, I get it.
Like I can see them waking up stunned in a completely war-torn Endor.
Yeah,
because is it the Endor
No,
one?
no, it's Yavin. Yavin. It's New Hope.
It's New Hope.
So they end up at Yavin after they escape. Yavin 4 for all you canon junkies.
Right. Because in Return of the Jedi, he does do something similar to the two stormtroopers at the Endor base, right? That are.
I mean, the
moon shield.
Yeah, he sneaks up at the shield generator and the two scouts.
And he forces one of them to turn the thing on, or.
Well, yeah. I mean, he
Anyway.
Yeah, he does a lot.
I can
of
already hear the cannon cops
I know the cannon cops are here. They're outside the door. They've been knocking.
Yeah.
Okay, here we go. We have another one coming in here, and this is from Kevin at KevRSCO, and it's entitled Coruscant. A lowly senator in the newly formed empire does what he can to survive until his daughter shows signs of Jedi powers. Fearing the empire's forces, he must wheel and deal like never before, even in the Coruscant underworld, to protect his daughter. Hashtag Rule of Two. Hashtag Heroes and Villains. I love this one.
I love this one too. I mean, this reminds me of Succession or
Yes, it's very dramatic.
Yeah, it's got political intrigue. It's got the Big Mac.
This is what I liked the most about it. One, it doesn't immediately rely on calling out the big names like a Vader and Obi-Wan and Ahsoka or this. It paints a picture of something that is dramatic, something that we're aware of. A consequence. The stakes are already established and very high, and just based on the logline itself, you can already in your mind go, well, Tarkin can show up, Vader can show up, the Emperor can show up, the Underworld, Boba Fett can show up. I mean, it painted a really nice picture.
Coruscant is the capital of Star Wars. It's the New York City of Star Wars.
Yeah.
Yet somehow, magically, inexplicably, it has no bearing at all on these new movies.
Right.
Because these new movies are trying to recreate that early kind of fantasy fairy tale vibe that the original trilogy had. Mm-hmm. That was great when it started, but it evolved past that. Mm-hmm. And these new movies are trying to take it back to that and forget that there's an entire world that's been built that you could have fun with.
Yes.
People knew what Coruscant was.
Yes.
It's okay if Luke tried to rebuild the Jedi Temple, which I know became the Sith's Emperor's room, whatever. Even though that's not maybe it's canon, maybe it's not. I have no friggin' idea. But ultimately, the building is there.
The building is there.
You know, and it's Anyway,
there's so much you can play with that one.
All right,
So
what's the next one?
The next one is from Enfys Nest, which is perfect, at Happy Hughes 2001, and is entitled Korriban, a Sith Academy.
Yeah.
Logline is a young, Force-sensitive suspects the light side has infiltrated the academy, and he must stop at nothing to find the light side traitor. I love that.
I love this one.
It's a great one. Hashtag Rule of Two, hashtag Heroes and Villains.
Korriban.
That is a great idea for me, again, because you know about the Sith army, but what happens when you're full of darkness, you've embraced the dark side, but somebody within the ranks starts to turn to the light. That, to me, is drama. That, to me, is already painting a picture. Stakes are high. New characters. That's what I've been gravitating with a lot of these. New characters.
Yeah.
Ideas that we can meet new people that aren't named Luke, Leia, Han, Chewie, Lando, what have you.
Or like fake proxy Boba Fett, fake proxy IG-88.
Sure, exactly.
Fake proxy.
Boy, taking some shots at the Mandalorian here, are we?
Look, I'm so excited about it, but like it's so obvious.
Yeah, well, I've heard that Jon Favreau wanted to do Boba Fett, that it was his number one. The Mandalorian was going to be Boba Fett.
Yeah.
But they said no on the Boba Fett.
Yeah.
And so he created the Mandalorian. But podcast for another time. Let's go to our last one, and that's Atlas Adams at Atlas Adams 502, entitled 501st Vader's Fist. In a galaxy torn asunder by the actions of Order 66 and the Clone Wars, the 501st is one constant. Doing the bidding of the Emperor and their Dark Lord, Darth Vader, they search out malcontents and lingering Jedi threats. Hashtag Rule of Two, hashtag Heroes and Villains.
Yeah,
that's another
cool
good one. That's another good one. You know why it geeks me out? Because we're getting Vader hunting down the Jedi like we wanted.
We needed that.
And you get the 501st, which kind of a little nod to the great organization that I've worked with before that we are honorary members of.
Yes.
The 501st. And it's something that I think the fans would love. Much like we were talking Knights of Ren, this is another one that I could see being like greenlit.
Yeah.
So
yeah, the 501st one. I'm actually like after reading this, I was like, oh man, like I'm surprised that this isn't a thing already.
I know.
You know, because it's such a well-known, well-loved thing. It brings Star Wars fans together at all the conventions. You can always count on the 501st being there as the kind of ambassadors between the hardcore fan and the casual fan.
Yep.
I mean, it's a great canvas to paint on, I think.
Yep. We have a super chat here from Haskell420 who says, great show, guys. I should have sent a second story where the Empire, First Order, goes to kidnap the children to become future troopers to be brainwashed.
That's a good one.
I like that.
That's cool.
Yeah, that's a great one. But those are the 5 we picked. Now, that doesn't mean that we overlooked all of the submissions. We read every single one of them. I read every single one of them and loved it. But these spoke to us in a way that we couldn't necessarily explain. And we do have ourselves a winner.
Yeah. Do you want to give a little drum roll?
I'll give a little drum roll here.
Maybe we could talk about it for another few minutes because I really like this one.
And your winner is at Kev, RSCO, Kevin, entitled Coruscant. A lowly senator in the newly formed Empire does what he can to survive until his daughter shows signs of Jedi powers. Fearing the Empire's forces, he must wheel and deal like never before, even in the Coruscant underworld, to protect his daughter. The reason we picked that is because that story is so clear. That story introduces the stakes like you wouldn't believe. That story also has elements that we could get behind, which is Vader being in this, Boba Fett.
Coruscant.
I love the idea, too, of embedding ourselves in the Empire and knowing what the bad guys are doing at every turn. And then the biggest stake of all, Order 66 has happened. The Jedi Purge is on, and his daughter is showing signs of the Force. Boom. That is scary to me. That makes me see a drama. That makes me see, some Game of Thrones intrigue. That gets me excited. That puts us back on Coruscant.
Yeah.
That has a lot of the things that I check that I want from a Disney Plus series.
And like how far is a father willing to go to protect his daughter?
How far is it? Yep, absolutely.
And to also see, I mean, look, one of the most amazing scenes in Revenge of the Sith, and everybody knows I love this movie. The scene of them inside the Senate room where Palpatine and Yoda, or Sidious and Yoda, are doing that final fight.
Yeah,
and it's just an amazing scene. It's just like, what's the? Let's go a little deeper into that Senate room.
Yeah, Yeah.
Like, what's some of the politics in there? What kind of turns can you take? I
That-
absolutely love this idea.
That's absolutely true too. We could really see the empire at work here. What is it like in the Senate now? Is it completely a dictatorship like we assume? And what leads to that moment on the Death Star where Tarkin comes in with Vader and says, "We've gotten rid of this. The Empire has washed everything away, and now it's basically the old remnants of the Republic are gone." And it's like, what leads up to that? And I love it. Seriously, I love the idea of a senator or an empire, like a higher up that we might not have met yet, having to hide his daughter. I mean, the stakes are clear. I love this.
Look, and also, what about the scene where the Emperor comes to preside over the Senate?
Exactly.
I mean, this is something that happens, I'm assuming, a lot.
Absolutely. It's got to happen.
You know, like,
There's
how
so
about
much.
E.T. as a character in this? Well, not E.T. himself.
But I know what you mean. That kind of
that species. Like,
that
you can,
species there, all the different things that we can get into
you
in
can
the
explore,
politics.
You can explore every species.
Yep.
You can explore the Mune.
Yep. And he also brings up the underworld here. So we can meet things like the Black Sun with Shizor that a lot of people did. I saw your submissions from that great Shadows of the Empire line that's might not be canon, we don't know, but they brought up Black Sun and Shizor, Prince Shizor. They brought up like Crimson Dawn. There's the underworld idea of this is fantastic as well.
Somebody wrote here, Hom Dam. I think it made a cool comment. That was Lucas's idea, basically HBO's Rome on Coruscant. So I've never heard that before, but the idea of HBO's Rome on Coruscant, I'm in.
Yeah.
I like it.
I don't know if it was Lucas's idea. I understand that we heard that 1313 was the underworld of Coruscant. However, I don't think there was a storyline out there that was like this. At least I'm not aware of. But I love this. Great idea.
We'll be contacting him right through Twitter.
I will contact him through Twitter. If you are listening, Kevin, at KEVRSCO. You can hit me up on Twitter at Reilly Around.
Yeah,
but I will be contacting you. You will win this backpack courtesy of BioWorld and the line Heroes and Villains. And that's it. That's our show. Thank you very much, everybody, for joining us. Again, if you want to go get some cool Star Wars swag, you can go to Heroes and Villains. It's heroesvillains.com. Check it out. Grab some swag. Put in on checkout. Rule 15. You'll get 15% off. And make sure you let us know if you do get some stuff. Tag us at Marc Fernandez, at Reilly Around, and at BioWorld Merch. And you can share your stuff. Share it out there and use the hashtag Heroes and Villains and Rule of Two. Thank you very much, everybody, for joining us. We've been live here on Collider Video and on the Podcast One Jedi Council feed. Thank you for joining us. We'll see you next week on an all-new episode of Rule of Two.
Rise.